Hi everyone, Maya here. So sorry for the delay. I am finally moved in and at 1 week I had the flu, so I'm very late when it comes to my videos. But I promise you that the delay is over. I am back to the regular schedule. So today I wanted to talk about something I watched yesterday, which was Batman and Harley Quinn. I am a huge Batman fan, but I'm an even bigger Harley Quinn fan. She's my absolute favorite character of all time. Like, in general fiction, she is my favorite. I love her to bits. However, the modern adaptations of this character have left a very bad taste in my mouth. I'm not really big fan of Suicide Squad Harley, and I tend to prefer the classic version of her character. So then when this movie came out, I saw the trailer and I saw that they were trying to imitate the Batman the Animated Series style. So I was like, wow, they're gonna bring her back to her roots, it seems, after that disastrous Suicide Squad movie. Also, Bruce Timm was in charge of the story and he also wrote part of the screenplay. And as you all know, Bruce Timm is one of the creators of Harley Quinn. So I was like, wow, this has a lot of promise. And I saw it, and it was bad. Really bad. Okay, where do I begin? I'm gonna get one thing out of the way. This has nothing to do with this massive hysteria about Harley being over sexualized. It's been all over social media. People have been talking about how oh my god, Harley Quinn shows her ass, and stuff like that. I'm gonna get that out of the way. Harley Quinn has always been a sexual character since day one. Okay? Her sexuality is part of her personality. How can I explain? Read Harley Quinn's backstory. She slept her way through college. Okay? This kind of person uses her sexuality for her advantage. So in scenes where she's trying to be sexy, she's actually trying to be sexy. And it has nothing to do with horny guys or anything like that. It has to do with Harley's character. And guess what? Women do it too, okay? Those tight superhero outfits with their ass right there, nicely defined. Come on. We're all horn dogs here. Let's not kid ourselves. So anyway, what did suck about this movie? Well, I'm gonna explain after I talk about the things I actually liked about the movie, which are very few. The animation is a solid 7 out of 10. It tries to imitate that Batman the Animated Series style, and it does it pretty well for the most part. I think there were one or two scenes where there were derp faces and where something looked off. I think they used very few frames of animation for the dance scene and some of the dancers, but other than that, it looks fine. It's crisp, the action looks clear, and it does capture that nostalgic Batman the Animated Series style pretty well. The second thing I liked was Kevin Conroy as Batman because he always does an amazing job as the character. He's always going to be Batman to me, just like how Mark Hamill is always going to be the Joker to me. And that's pretty much all I liked, guys. Get ready for a smackdown. The main thing that I did not like about this movie, and this is a major problem of this movie, it is the perfect example of why it's important to choose a tone when it comes to movies in general. It has a really big problem with tone whiplash, I like to call it. Remember how people complained in Star Wars The Phantom Menace because they had very serious fight scenes and then they had Jar Jar doing some stupid bullshit? Well, this movie follows the same path. It does this very serious detective story where, it's the typical Batman detective story where he goes and he investigates the place and he analyzes in a very serious manner. There are a couple of jokes here and there, but they're more of a dry humor variety. And then it goes completely Looney Tunes. And I don't mean that to be um, I'm exaggerating. It literally goes Looney Tunes. Harley Quinn is incredibly silly in this, which is fine because she's silly. But her silliness rubs on the other characters when the charm of Harley Quinn is that she has straight men to bounce her silliness off. You know, Batman is all serious and very tight-assed, and Harley is very goofy and very all out there. And that's what makes the dynamic very interesting. The second problem I had with this, besides the drastic change in tone throughout the movie, was that it had no regard to continuity because this concept has been done before in an episode called Harley Quinn in the animated series. Just replace the Joker with Ivy, and there you go. That is basically what it's trying to imitate. But what Harley Quinn did right, this movie did it wrong, and I'm going to explain. Harley Quinn did not shift its tone so drastically. Harley would be silly, and Batman would be serious all throughout. Batman was very proactive in catching the Joker and figuring out the mystery, while Harley was focused in helping him, but was also focused in her own agenda and trying to reunite with her beloved. Here, same thing, but Harley doesn't want to reunite with Ivy. She actually does want to help. And the movie kind of wants you to be on edge because she's crazy. And she could change her mind. But the thing is, we saw in Harley Quinn that Batman, he saw this, that Harley would never, ever, ever be part of a doomsday plot like that. She wants to live. She's not as crazy as the Joker or Ivy. When there's a doomsday plot, Harley would fight the Joker and will try to stop him. And Batman saw this. He saw this, he witnessed it, and he used it against her so he could stop the Joker. So I don't understand why Batman is so not trusting of Harley when Harley in Harley Quinn was still an accomplice of the Joker, and in this movie she is on parole. So because she's on parole and she's not doing any crime, that should give me an indication that she's pretty much changed her ways, and for the most part she has. Now, another problem I have with this is Harley's character. I'm gonna go with the voice first. I think the voice is okay. A lot of people are complaining that the voice is not fine, but no one can imitate Arlene Sorkin. Nobody can. Arlene is Harley, and she has this mix of sweetness and sassiness that just makes the character perfect. Tara Strong, the actress afterwards, was too high pitched for my taste. She sounded much younger. Here they picked this other actress. I don't know her name, but she acted in The Big Bang Theory, I think. She sounds too old and way too nasal. It kind of takes me out of the moment. They also wrote Harley more bitter, and it would be more interesting to see why she's like that, but we don't get it. I think this movie would have benefited way more if it was all in Harley's point of view, because then you can be loony and kooky and go all out there with it making sense, because it's from a very crazy, unhinged character, kind of like Deadpool. But no, it's not in Harley's point of view, it's in Batman's. Another thing about Harley's character that I did not really like is that it has been established in the animated series, in the comics, that Harley is only bad, ill-intentioned, when she is an accomplice of a villain. So when she's with the Joker, she acts as her worst. And when she's with Ivy, she also acts as her worst. When she's detached from them, she's actually a very decent human being. When you see in Harley's Holiday, she tries to make her life right, and the mistakes she makes aren't out of malice, but out of not being used to being free and being a good, well-behaved citizen. She's not used to it, so she makes a couple of mistakes that were not with malicious intent. But here, she kind of forgot that. She kind of still has this bitterness and the tendency to flip from good girl to crazy bitch to bitter. And it just can't make up its mind. It's almost when the plot is convenient for her to be one way, she is this way. For example, this scene really confused me, and it's not really a spoiler because it happens kind of early on. And throughout the beginning of the movie, Poison Ivy and Dr. Woodrue, who are the villains, are using this scientist as a way to find this doomsday virus that will make humanity into human plants. This is something that Ivy has done before, by the way, so I wasn't surprised or at the edge of my seat anyhow. They have this scientist guy. Later on, when Batman, Harley Quinn, and Nightwing find them, they kill the scientist. Well, mortally wound him. Harley, when they get away, Harley kneels down to the scientist and starts crying and grieving for him. And I'm like, what? She doesn't even know the scientist. Nobody does. He's just a random guy. I know that we're trying to show Harley's soft side, but again, if she knew the scientist, it would have been better because Harley can be a tender-hearted person, but this is a person they never even talked to. So she was just giving this speech how, when you go to heaven, I hope you meet my grandma. You know, it was like, you know him. Why are you crying? You've killed people before, Harley. You've killed people. You've tortured a little boy. So, why are you sad this random scientist dies? It's just very inconsistent. And the ending, by the way, spoiler warning right here. If you're gonna watch the movie, if you're still interested, then go and watch it. I'm gonna spoil the hell out of this movie right here. The ending is one of the most retarded endings I have ever seen. Like, it's up there. And I wouldn't say this if the movie was loony all throughout, but they make it feel like a Batman episode sometimes, where there's detective work and there's serious moments. In the end, Ivy is very motivated in making these plant people. She's kind of sad because that means Harley's gonna die, but she still wants to do it because she's Poison Ivy. And Harley begs her, and she's like, no, 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 Harley. And then Harley takes off her hat and she wipes her makeup away and says, you forced me to do this, Red. And then she just gives these puppy eyes to Ivy, like the Puss in Boots from Shrek, exactly alike. And then Ivy's like, no, no, I can't. Oh, no, you convinced me. I'm not gonna do it, Harley. And she's like, works every time. What? That's it? That's how they stop her? I mean, talk about a letdown. It is so forced and so out of nowhere. I mean, beforehand, Poison Ivy punched Harley in the face. Okay? Multiple times. But now that she gives puppy eyes, she stops. And then they insult your intelligence further. Batman, the world's greatest detective, who in the beginning could identify leaves that were unusual and other cops and forensic people couldn't. Batman, world's greatest detective, couldn't remember at the moment that plants are flammable, but Harley could. So Harley goes like, you know, Dr. Woodrue is made of leaves. Anyone got a match? And Batman and Nightwing kiss her. They do like Batman kisses her here and Nightwing kisses her here, and it ends. That's how the movie ends. Credit sequence, and then they show, they barely show Woodrue on fire, and that's it. The end! Movie! Yay! Oh god. Like, I know Harley is silly, and she's supposed to be a comedic character. But what makes Harley very appealing, and what made her a character that um, expanded upon that was expanded upon after the animated series, was that she was both a great balance of comedy and tragedy. She was a victim of domestic abuse, and but she was very peppy and very funny and very bouncy. So you kind of were very protective over her, but you were still amused by her antics. And they have done episodes with her without the Joker before, and they worked. So it is possible to do it, to do a standalone thing on her. But I think it needs to be approached in a way where there's a clear point of view. And Harley's point of view was the right one to take in this route, because then we could absorb the silliness way better. You know? And that's why I did not like this movie. I thought this movie was done in a first draft. Like, it felt like a first draft. It didn't feel like something finished. It felt like it was rushed. They were trying to hop in the Harley Quinn bandwagon after Suicide Squad because she sold a lot of Hot Topic merchandise, I guess. And that's it. And I guess some people might like this. I mean, it got mixed reviews, so it might be for somebody. So, if you're interested in seeing this movie, even though I spoiled it to you, if you want something more lighthearted, but looks like Batman the Animated Series, then this may be for you. It might be the sense of humor you like. But those are my thoughts, and thank you for watching my video. As I said, I'm gonna update way more regularly now that I am back in my dorm room. So I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!